Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Gloves Off podcast, the only podcast that can count to 17 on one hand. I am your host, Master Hand Games Koopa, joined as always to my Byleth, I guess is where we're going here. Newly minted, not Chris CX anymore, of Crystallodian, but Chris to me because we're cool like that. What's up, man?
It's true, man. I feel reborn, though. I gotta tell you, I feel very at home with Crystallodian, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, rumor has it you were born out of a shell of whatever the aggro crag is made out of.
Yeah, it's a rumor. I've also heard that too, just now.
Yeah, bathe in the bat of Nickelodeon slime for
Well,
sure.
dude, now we can actually do something with secret slime actions, because
It's actually true. That's a bit I've been kind of hammering home for a while. Hopefully, people have been starting to catch on. But anyway, as we continue on here, we have another guest here, someone we haven't had on in I think about a month or so. Another person that went through an identity change recently, no longer with the abbreviation in front of his name, but we have the abbreviation after his name, Mr. Ajax, also known as Ajax HQ. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? The recent change. After a couple years, 2.5 years to be exact, with Flashpoint, we've parted ways, but in no ill will or shape of negativity of any kind. I love I love the team, love the people there. They were great for me. But we had a little bit of a creative difference as time progressed, and sometimes you gotta have a little bit of change. So I'll be keeping track of them, but for now. It's switched over to Ajax, and the HQ part will be revealed to people very soon.
I'll tell you, I'm just glad you're in a better place.
Yeah, he's in a better place now for sure. But yeah, so this is trying to get back on a regular scheduled programming for our podcast. This past week was very interesting. So if you guys missed last week's episode, it was basically our power ranking reveal show, and that day I believe was announced of a Super Smash Brothers direct or a video hosted by Masahiro Sakurai, our Lord and Savior, about whoever the rumored 5th DLC character was going to be. And let me tell you, the internet was ablaze beforehand and subsequent afterwards, and it's probably still smoldering slightly, if I'm being honest. But yeah, so it's character number 5.
It's definitely still smoldering.
Yeah, there's definitely
people got some
here.
issues.
Yeah. So anyway, if you guys have been living under a rock for the last couple of days, the 5th character in the fighter pack Uno is none other. It's not Dante from Devil May Cry. It's not 2B from Nier Automata. It's not any of those. It's not a third-party character at all. Instead, it is none other than the main titular hero from Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Byleth.
Wait, who?
Fuck. Yeah, so needless to say, I guess we'll get into our thoughts about it right now.
Yeah, why not, man? I'm okay to start with this. I think it's as good a time as any to talk about it. It's probably the most interesting thing to come up recently because, as you already mentioned, people had all their hopes set very high up for the likes of Dante, Sora. Not everyone wanted Sora, but there's definitely a following of people, and basically anyone but. It's always been a meme, like just not another Fire Emblem character, but sure enough, we got another Fire Emblem character, and I'm sure there's a lot of reasons for this internally, but for anyone who's just a fan of Smash or just a fan of whatever. Just the franchise are just competing, like they're just not happy with it. And it's because not only is another Fire Emblem character, it's actually a Fire Emblem character that looks a lot like Marth. So I think that just kind of confuses people.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about it. Ajax is the only person that canonically willingly plays a Fire Emblem character in their free time.
I cannot believe the madman actually did.
That's the best way to put it.
Like I was sitting in the living room ready to go. I was like, all right, so it's got to be the big one. It's got to be the big drop. Whatever they got coming. He always calls out the pack of any DLC and FGC with something that's a huge, just like jaw dropper. Well, everybody's jaws definitely dropped right onto their keyboards when I started typing on Twitter because holy shit, were people not happy about that? Like there were some who were happy, but like we all knew deep down that at some point the Three Houses character, most likely Byleth, was coming. I thought it would be Pack 2, which we'll definitely talk about in a second too. But like the last one of the first pack, where you already have people regularly not the most pleased. Granted, the fact that we have these characters in the first place is a blessing, but not exactly the most bright marketing strategy, in my opinion. Especially also at the end of it all, they didn't even tease the first character for the new pack. So your pre-sales just don't exist right now. I don't know whose idea that was before the February fiscal year, but somebody's probably not too happy in an office right now.
So that's an interesting like way to think about it, because it's funny. I think like the reason they release characters like this is essentially to like promote, I guess, like the game. And Fire Emblem Three Houses is like such a large game in itself, and a game that I'm certain is going to see some DLC and just have a bunch of additional things. And Fire Emblem was
they
like
actually confirmed. They just confirmed DLC on that.
Totally. And I've seen a couple people throughout all of the moans and groans and all displeasure. I've seen a few people be like, "Oh, I guess I'm gonna pick up Three Houses, give it a shot, see like why they would even do this." So it's like it has worked to that regard, and you know, I could have expected that. I think the biggest surprise was seeing that be character number 5. The thing is like as far as like DLC Pack 2 goes, I feel like people are just gonna buy that regardless, and I think Nintendo sort of probably feels like that.
And on the point of what Koopa mentioned before, like I do, you know, I've been playing Ike for years, and I love the Fire Emblem franchises like through and through. It makes sense timing wise that they wanted to plan this next to DLC pack and get more people buying Fire Emblem Three Houses, which have already sold like a tremendous number, but it still just blew my mind that like each one of these reveals has been a 35-minute like just teaser of the game themselves more than the character lately by Sakurai, which he's doing a great job at. But I was just very shocked considering where we've gone from multiple character kind of directs to 35-minute full-blown directs about a game and some of the character.
So, yeah, they do a lot of lore stuff with these releases. I actually really enjoyed the SNK one when they did Terry, and this one was
that one was really well done.
That's actually one of my least favorite parts about this direct in particular, because like the SNK one was sick because like Sakurai was just giving us a history lesson on Fatal Fury, SNK, and why my Shiranui's titties are too big to be in Smash. It makes sense for every single one of the characters they did it for. Like for Banjo, it makes sense because like not a lot of people. I'm sure there's still plenty of people that like were born past the year 2000 and probably don't know what or who Banjo-Kazooie is. Like I'm sure those people exist. And vice versa with stuff like Fatal Fury, because like I said, not a lot of people knew what that was. I didn't need Sakurai to explain to me what Fire Emblem was. Like number one, I'm a Nintendo fan. Obviously, I play a lot of Nintendo games. I am fully aware of who Fire Emblem is. And number two, I've played enough Smash games to kind of understand. It's like, okay, you know what? It's like when you watch porn enough times, you kind of figure out how things work. Like I've played enough games of Smash to understand what Fire Emblem is. So I didn't need
so many times the same playthrough is going to get you the same.
So, and like
happy result.
I did see a great tweet that came up over the weekend where like somebody, I think it was Afro Smash, that said that, you know, when a character gets added to Smash, it feels like a celebration of their series. When Fire Emblem gets added to Smash, it feels like a fucking like advertisement for
actually yes, because that's actually where my previous statement kind of was tapering on, because that tweet really made me think about that. It's like, other ones that I've seen, we feel like we've kind of been excited and seen a new history behind a game, and usually when these characters come out, I've purchased many games just because of them being characters in Smash. But this one felt more like I was pulled into a 30-minute advertisement, and I still want to talk about the character in general too, because I actually kind of like what they did with Byleth, but just it didn't have that same like gravitas to it, especially after we sat through to our own faults the awards show. So we were all really just dying for that good news, and now we have to wait 3 more months.
I want a Goose Muppet.
Could you imagine though? What if it was the award show and it was still Byleth, and at the end of all that waiting, it was Byleth.
Dude, Jeff Keighley's like dead body would have been a meat shield. Like Jeff Keighley, we would have watched a man like Jeff Keighley, Billy Joe Armstrong, and the Goose Muppet would have been strung up like outside of the
Protect the goose.
Yeah.
So
honestly, but
I don't know.
Rock.
I do think that I want to get to well before hold on. I just want to meme on this real quick. I love how everyone did all of like the trying to decode Sakurai's 3 fingers being out the night before, and it turned out to be 3 houses. That's like my favorite part.
Yeah, people were fucking joking about it too. Just like, oh, what if he's holding up 3 houses? And we're like, haha, you guys are funny. And then, like AJ said, the fucking madman goes and does it. And not only does he do it, he's not even hiding the fact that he did
People were saying
he's fucking puts them in the trailer.
People are like, oh, it means Dante because Devil May Cry 3 and the Switch.
Well, that was a pretty good convenient like timing though, considering they had just like Twitter had like at least a small leg to stand on there with like the Devil May Cry team saying pay attention to this day, and then him putting 3 fingers up. Like we got trolled.
So
hard.
do you think?
Like,
well, here's my stance on that, because like my take on that is that I think we definitely fell for the bait. I think people were kind of grasping on the straws, because like if there's a Nintendo Direct announced and like a dev for Capcom or for Devil May Cry is like, oh yeah, watch this date, guys. Do you imagine the legal litigation a guy would be caught up in? Like that guy's grandchildren would have fucking like lawyers to have to pay. So like that's where that's where I'm a little like not super surprised about what happened. It's just the fact that like Sakurai wasn't even trying to like be subtle about it. Like literally, it looks like Kylo Ren for 5 seconds, and you just know for a fact that it's Byleth. I'm just like, this can't be fucking happening right now.
Speaking on that, actually, that you just made me think about something. They were very, very secretive about it this time. Like they made sure no leaks went out. We haven't had like a leakless direct or a character leak, or like a non-character leak in God knows how long. Like pretty much, actually, now that I think about it, have we had one at all since like 4? Maybe like a character or 2 of the DLC characters, the returning ones, but like nobody knew. And they recorded it back in November, kept it tight knit, and probably just did that to find who was leaking all this stuff, because people were getting them 100% accurate. So I think they might have found, or they had an idea of who was leaking the information, because this one got through completely unscathed.
There's a part of me that thinks that like and I want to keep in mind that they did say that the next character pack would have 6 characters instead of 5, so there's that. Because part of me is like, okay, so this is an extra character kind of, and I forget, Koopa, I don't remember if this was you who said this to me, and I thought it was a good theory, or I can't remember who said it, but basically maybe they were planning on a Blizzard character. I mean, this is going back to November. Yeah.
Me and Haz, I've only had our had some.
That's right, situation. Yeah.
Where I'm of the theory that like, you know, Nintendo, this last character. Here's my stance. Like, just follow me for a second. Like at one point, I feel like unless Nintendo planned on doing 12 characters the whole time, then just disregard everything I'm about to say. But I feel like at some point during the process, this character was supposed to be the last one out of the game. So I feel like what better way to do that than like, you know, I feel like a Blizzard IP would generate enough sort of, you know, it has enough like mustard behind it to like, you know, warrant the anchor DLC spot in a DLC pack. But I feel like maybe it was because of like the bad press from you know, from the Free Hong Kong stuff, where Nintendo kind of nixed the thought of a Tracer you know, DLC character in this pack. Now, granted, that could all be just like hullabaloo. Like, don't take anything I said seriously. But I'm just saying, if there's that, if Tracer is the first character or something like that in the next pack, then everybody owes me a handshake for like the next 6 months.
I mean, to be completely honest, I'm actually like I'm on the same boat, because whenever these things happen, I try to look at it not just like my opinion on it, but like a marketing type view perspective, and it just makes sense. Like if they were to be the last character, which would be a very big drop. So Overwatch, you just had an Overwatch 2 announcement. I was saying that back then. It was like they kind of did like it's timing out to be near BlizzCon. Like this makes a lot of sense. But then all that happens, like, well, we have to fix this because Nintendo's not about that negative family press. And if you push, say, Tracer or an Overwatch character or Blizzard IP in general into the next pack, there's enough time where the internet does what it always does. It forgets, and they just relaunch it, and then all of a sudden you have a bit more hype with only a few people being negative.
Yeah, and the one thing I do think about, especially since they were planning another character for the next pack, is I sort of do feel like maybe this is just one of those characters that they sort of just had almost as a contingency plan in general for whatever reason, whether it be the Blizzard thing or anything. And there has been, I forget, Sakurai basically said "don't at me" a while ago in terms of like character selections. And I think maybe that I part of me feels like maybe this was despite everyone adding him, despite him saying "don't at me" about like add this person, add that person.
I think something that gets kind of lost in the sauce is that when Sakurai like announced after the Smash Ultimate, after Smash Ultimate was revealed, like they wasted no time saying like, oh yeah, we're releasing 5 DLC characters. And I think he like made a follow tweet afterwards saying that like the characters were all handpicked by Nintendo this time around. So keep in mind, Nintendo planned to have the main character from the next main series Fire Emblem game as a playable character in June of 2018. So
yeah.
Like, I feel like people that are getting blatantly mad at Sakurai like don't understand. Like, this was a Nintendo decision, which again blows my mind because like this is like if Byleth was base game, I wouldn't give a shit. And I also came up with the theory that like if they started with Byleth, or like if Byleth was the E3 character, then like I think the outrage would be less bad because like Mezzy said this, or Zone, when we did the original. Like whenever we mentioned DLC, like you never start a relay with your strongest runner, and that's what they did with Joker. Like Joker was like, I understand why that you do it. You want to generate the hype for people to want to buy the DLC pack, and what better way to set the standard than a third-party character from a franchise that you probably would have never expected to be represented in Smash. So I can understand, like, if Byleth was the E3 character, and then they anchored with Banjo, then fuck yeah, the reception would be completely different. We'd be here, chomping at the bit and crying about why is it not July 28th yet.
I like that you said Joker running because that's literally his windscreen. I wasn't sure if that was on purpose or not. Look, there he goes.
That's something he takes the bus.
Looking good, Joker.
Yeah,
looking real fit, Joker. Yeah, but like it's just.
I big time agree. No, it's all good. I big time agree with that because whenever you do these things, you need to make sure that you keep people satiated and hungry the whole time. And when you drop a big character start, you get the pre-sales. You get the people buy it right away, and that's good. Now you have people guaranteed locked into your next characters. So you put a Byleth, who there are going to be people who are happy. Plenty of people loved Fire Emblem Three Houses, and the character is actually very unique in terms of what they're doing with the multiple weapons. But you put it in the middle because you get a little bit of heat, and then you get people to be even more excited afterwards. Because at the end of something really bad, the next one when you drop them good, everybody's that much happier because now they have something that they've been waiting longer for, and they get more excited. It's still kind of just. I feel like there had to be something more that made them number 5. I just don't think like PR wise that everybody went, this is the best decision we could do for our. Like I'm still kind of with the tinfoil hat on, thinking that it something else that got changed, even though we were definitely always going to get this character. Like no matter what, I believe that we were.
Yeah, like it felt inevitable at some point that it's gonna happen. It's death, taxes, and Fire Emblem characters in Smash. I just expect it to happen at this point. But like it's how I fully expect that we're gonna get a new Pokemon in the next DLC pack, which is again the other big news that came out of this. Besides the fact that Byleth comes out on the 28th, so by the time you're listening to this podcast, it'll probably be like the following, like the next 5 days or something like that. So
yeah, another 6 days.
Yeah, so like Byleth is coming out soon, and they announced that we're getting a whole new pack of 6. So we're basically doubling the amount of DLC we got, or 5 plus Piranha Plant.
I was gonna say if you're counting Plant, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that too. Like the whole. I mean, I like how they kind of threw it in there. Like, hey, now we're gonna do 6. But all I thought was, oh, I mean, you already did 6 before.
Yo,
One was a
that
free one,
that
but,
cup
like,
that
it's still-
Cuphead skin though. Sorry.
Oh, true. That's crazy.
So, something came
but-
out of it. Yeah.
two times where the indie rep me costume ended up being better than the release, which also would be topped by if we ever got DLC skins to go on these characters that I would drop thousands of dollars on. Thousands.
That rabbit face is freaking me out. Jesus Christ.
Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah. So
The rabbit.
also, I hope none of you were hoping that we're gonna get Monster Hunter in Smash because Byleth literally plays the way I would want a Monster Hunter character to fight in Smash.
So, what do you guys think about Byleth as being a tester for some of the newer characters? Because some of the moves that Byleth has in that moveset can be moves that you could see in a lot of like the popular voted, or I don't want to say voted, but like basically the characters that you're hearing a lot about that people want to see.
Yeah, Byleth is Monster Hunter. That's literally what it is. It's a weapon user that uses multiple weapons. Granted, except instead of like it being a stance change thing, it's the whatever cardinal direction you happen to be holding your control stick in is the weapon that they use. Because that's the gimmick of like I guess we talked a bit at length about the Byleth reaction. We didn't actually talk about anything that was shown in the trailer yet. And Byleth just looks like it's kind of a hodgepodge of like different moves. Like if Falcon Punch and Hatchet Man had a baby and the baby had like I don't know like was born in like tar, then it would be whatever the down B is. Like the Byleth uses the I guess what the sacred weapons of the 3 house users or something like that. Yeah, I'm not like super. I played like a bit of 3 houses. I'm still trying to catch up with the terminology, but yeah, I guess it's exactly the way I would have expected a Monster Hunter character to fight with bows and lances and a giant axe and stuff like that. And is the character going to be good? The jury's out. Once Leo wins Frostbite with Byleth, then we'll all be eating crow, I'm sure. But I'm still just trying to process it. Like the things that they said are not things that I want to hear when thinking about characters. Like I don't want to hear Pit Snare. I don't want to hear Falcon Punch. I don't want to hear slightly faster than Robin. Like those are not things that like turn me on about a character.
I for one Monster Hunter comparison, spot on. Like I definitely agree 100% that it's like pretty much if I was to look at MVCI Monster Hunter cropped into this game, it's almost exactly the same minus like the great sword, but you just replace that with the axe and boom. And another crazy thing about this is I don't think I've ever played a fighting game literally ever where I have had at least 5 of the characters that I can count where they are just not blatantly just not broken.
That's weird.
Even with Joker at that, like Joker's very hard to play at a high level consistently. There's a reason only why like Leo and like I'm and a few others are doing it.
I think Nintendo's afraid of power creep. Like I think they saw the cool. Like Nintendo's afraid of Nintendo. It's weird.
Well, actually, what I was that just leads into like the end of that was to say I like it. Like I like that it's balanced still. It's unique. This is the first time I've seen where at least a full year we have not had like more than actually I can't even think of a tournament where we a few tournaments in a row where we have at least 3 or 4 represented characters amongst top 8. It's always a bunch of different characters, and usually it's the same character specialists alternating. It's just that balanced.
So he does kind of look like Marth, by the way.
He did look just like Marth.
I'm just looking at him fight Marth, and I'm like, you know what?
They're all kind of related in some way. Fire Emblem's just one big like family. It's what's that website you use to find their ancestry? It's that
Ancestry.com.
I don't like that fully charged bow. It reminds me of Custom Link bow. I am not looking forward to that.
Wow, it is like Custom Link bow.
Yeah, I am terrible against zoning, and I don't want to see that. I will get hit by it. Also, catch me calling my distance demon from now on.
Oh yes, that's a great that's another thing about the direct that I enjoyed. Like Sakurai brought out some dope terminology, like distant demon, the Fire Emblem police.
Don't at me, like Chris said. The amount of times that he said "don't at me."
Yeah, the
so
shit eating
times.
grin he had when he was putting the posters up, like that was great.
Mhm.
Talking about counting in binary for 2 minutes.
Oh my god, how come no one's talking about that more? That's incredible, dude.
Bro, the flex.
Dude, that's
Like,
such a
counting
flex.
Counting in binary is really fucking
Look
hard.
at this guy, dude. He just goes. It just froze on me. He just goes nuts.
Yeah, he's throwing up gang signs like it's crazy.
Oh, it keeps freezing.
And then the surely accidental flip off of the camera.
Hey, I'm just saying. At one point, his hands made the henshin sign. So if that's not all the confirmation I need, like, I'm just saying. Like, bring me the legendary Capcom character you promised me, Nintendo.
I still can't. It's still so great that he actually just flipped off the camera. It's like he just keeps letting us know more and more. It's like, just so y'all know, I get these mails. I hate y'all.
Like
but I love you at the same time.
I just feel like I can't help but to think this was some level of trolling, like in general. I just because it's not like anyone's gonna actually stop buying the DLC packs or like stop playing Smash or boycott it. Like it's not gonna happen ever.
Yeah, like here's my stance. Like, there's the diehard fans like myself. Like I've gotten everything I've wanted out of Smash. Like I've gotten everything out of Smash since October 10th, 2007, the day that they put Sonic the Hedgehog in Super Smash Brothers. Like I'm good. I got Sonic, I got Mega Man, I got 2 Castlevania characters. Like I'm satisfied. I got everything that I've ever wanted out of Smash.
Oh my god, the picture is great.
Yeah, I just found this as we were just talking about him flipping off.
Oh my god.
I mean, let's be real. Waluigi deserves to be flipped off, and possibly Gino. I won't say that though. Although I just
so I guess so what direction do you think Nintendo's going to go with this DLC pack? Because now that they've shown that they are indeed still adding first party characters, like I don't know what other avenues they can go except adding a new Pokemon.
I was gonna say 100% a new Pokemon.
Yeah,
that'd be close. I think Urshifu has a very high chance now.
I agree.
Also, that is a great name, Your Master. Translated, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But or your teacher. But yeah, no, it's still like that. What was another one I was trying to think of? I think we'll definitely get another Mario-esque representative. At least one more. And then they drop the big guns with Master Chief with the rocket launcher, and
Chief finishes the fight.
Honestly, the more the days pass by, the more I actually believe Chief's getting in, and I cannot like hold it back. That and also Crash Bandicoot, I think, is another big one I would love to see, because those are the 2 remaining gaming icons for my gen, or our gen really. That if they were to get into this, it's my entire childhood wrapped up in one game.
Yeah, like the way that I'm looking at it is that it's gonna go in phases of every other character is gonna be the one, oh shit. So like the first character has to be like the one that sets the tone. It has to be the Joker.
Tracer. I forgot about Tracer.
Yeah. So like it has to be one that sets the tone. Whoever the eventual E3 character is gonna be has to be the one that's like sets the tone, and then whoever the anchor is has to be the one that like breaks the internet. Like,
isn't there a new Halo game coming out this year?
I think so.
Yeah, isn't like I don't know, something, but that I don't know. I've been advocating Chief for a while, and I thought it may have been this one, but like honestly, I do think he's kind of coming still too. It's hard to imagine who else they're gonna add. And if Nintendo chose it, that seems like one of those iconic IP, or
it's a
not
painful
IPs,
stubbornness for me, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what actually happens.
I think Sora's like the biggest possible name they could drop to blow up
So
the internet,
boring.
but like I just don't know if he actually ever gets in.
I don't know, man. Disney being what it is, and Sora doesn't even feel like a real character to me in general, but that's a personal problem probably, and I won't go on him.
Yeah, I just don't want the Disney umbrella anywhere near.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at, and Sora's just representative of that. Even in like his feet and stuff, like he just looks.
he's got them Disney feet.
Yeah, like get this guy. Like you don't gotta go home, but
yeah, like
just can't stay
my
here.
my stance on DLC at this point is that like I'm just here to enjoy the ride. Like, because all the characters that I want left in Smash are either deconfirmed by some like facet of the game, or like complete pipe dream characters. Like, if we're talking like a second party, like by association Nintendo character that I want left in Super Smash Brothers, that's not like, you know, a boring Mario or Zelda character, is Professor Layton.
Oh
Friend of
wow.
Professor Layton too.
I've actually seen quite a bit of requests for Professor Layton between
yeah.
Florida now.
Yeah, well, hear me now. Hear me out on it, because like it makes sense for me, because they can do with Professor Layton what MVC3 did for Phoenix Wright, where they take a puzzle game character and they turn him into a full-fledged like fighting game character. But like my heart doesn't want it, because then Professor Layton's just going to be another sword character, and I don't want that smoke.
What about why not just get Phoenix Wright though?
I mean, I'd be fine with that too, but like I just feel like, because Phoenix already been done, I don't know if Sakurai wants that smoke.
Yeah, it's hard to make. I mean, it comes from a visual novel. It's hard to really.
I just wish they
just
go to the Captain Falcon approach. Just like, hey, like, we know this character is not from a fucking fighting game, so we're just gonna give him the ability to beat the shit out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like
True.
Yeah, put in Phoenix Wright, but she'd be like, oh yeah, Phoenix Wright. He hits you with a fucking chair. I don't know. Like,
Speaking of Captain Falcon, just as a personal thing, I really want every single game to have 2 reps, at least.
yeah, I'm like still
Other
kind
than
of shocked. Like
that, obviously, but
I'm just sitting here like kind of like shocked that like there's literally only one Sonic rep in Smash.
that is actually criminal. I cannot, for the life of me, understand. I think that there's a high chance. Actually, now that you bring that up, that we might finally see a second rep in the second.
I don't know,
But
man.
The likelihood is just every time I think it would make the most sense. It's been around for so long, and Sega's just like, nah.
Put Amy Rose in Smash, and I'll never ask for it.
I can't imagine
Really?
them going
Really,
back.
Amy Rose over all the other ones?
Yeah, I think Amy would be great.
Not Robotnik or Tails?
One of those. Tails then would be Echo Fightery. And
What?
and Robotnik would be cool, but
What?
like,
How? Guns. Give Tails a gun.
yeah, but Amy has a hammer.
Yeah, but a gun.
The coolest thing
Yeah, but-
I could think of for Sonic, the coolest thing I could think of is if they put in like Knuckles and then added one of the guys from Knuckles Chaotic, and they were like ice climbers.
Oh,
Oh. Ooh.
That is such a throwback thing, though, and they would
do,
never do
wait,
that.
do we get
Mighty-
Buffalo music then?
Mighty the
I hope
Armadillo
so.
comes out. The Armadillo stops drinking long enough to be in a video game again.
Who summons me?
Yeah, give me Ray the Flying Squirrel, cowards.
Up
Yeah, I
to
don't know.
two.
Maybe we'll finally
No,
get Goku.
There's one squirrel, and that's Conquer.
Yeah.
God, the day that happens, like, that's the day that hell freezes over.
Yeah, that actually will.
like Sakurai is dead, and like the game has been taken over by a 13-year-old.
Yeah, that's when he actually drops a mic in front of the direct, then actually flips us off.
He just puts his dick. He just puts his dick on the table. It's just like, how big, motherfucker? Like, that'd just be the ultimate flex. No pun intended. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. And also, a thing that we kind of just glanced over is that the projected date for the DLC is for the next 2 years. So we're getting at least 2 more years worth of updates. Like,
Totally.
I'm so happy about that.
granted that like they were slightly ahead of schedule for this, so like I definitely doubt that this character will probably come out, whatever character 11 is, by like November of 2021. So like, because technically this is supposed to go until February of 2020, but like, you know, it's the middle of January.
I am not a fan of longer wait periods for these DLC characters because I want them all now. But my bias aside on that is, I'm glad that at least the game is going to be paid attention to and somewhat taken care of for the next couple of years, because that's just going to keep our competitive viability fresh, and keep people who complain about things maybe getting them a chance to finally get that buff they're looking for to still go 0-2 and but you never know, it might help them.
I'm just doing the math, and so it's like, what we're getting, what was it, a character every 4 months it would be, or something like that.
Yeah, 3 to 4 months, give or take.
That's a Fire Emblem character every 4 months, guys. Like, that's crazy.
Man, we got so many. I'm ready for Soft to finally join the fight. Where's my Tharja at? Like,
I actually heard like a really good point, but like people talk about like adding different weapon classes to Fire Emblem as a way to make this editions less stale. But like I truly feel like they're all still gonna play the same. Like Byleth, even with all the different weapons, still like functionally plays the same as a Fire Emblem character, just like minus the counter and instead they gave her Falcon Punch.
Unpopular opinion here, but if you really want to make a lot of these characters unique, you gotta give some more of them combos. Otherwise, they're all gonna play the same.
I agree. I'm with you 100%. But it's gonna be an interesting next, I guess, couple of years, and then we'll see how Byleth actually handles the game actually. Once she actually comes out. So, but I don't know how you guys feel. I'm anticipating we don't see a character till E3 or another.
I'm anticipating Pound because They...
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know the strats, but what's it called? The DLC characters always coincide with whatever VGBC holds their events.
Why is that so strange?
Honestly, I think somebody is actually paying attention in Nintendo PR department to when they're hosting them. I straight up believe that at this point.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm trying to find the tweet. I've seen it a couple times, but
Tantalus and Apostle.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking right now.
Yeah, all within a week or two of any one of their announcements this past year. That's actually not coincidental at this point.
Yeah, that's really something.
Crazy. That's crazy.
There we go. I found it. Yeah. So Glitch 6. I guess. Well, the past 3. That's still a pretty good track record. Honestly, it's more than
there's
couple,
more.
And...
that's only a few of them he posted. There's one that has the other ones up there too. People correct them in the tweets.
That's just so crazy.
Yeah,
man.
You're right. Yeah, so Pound had a DLC and it turned out to be Hero. Yeah, that's pretty wild, man. I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know when the date is for Glitch 9, but you're right. We do have Pounds coming up.
So let's see.
First weekend of April.
So we're gonna get a direct the last week of March, and we're gonna get I don't know, fucking Pauline from Mario Odyssey.
We're getting Peach Gold Mario.
Oh God.
Peach Gold Peach. Or I'm sorry, Pink Gold Peach.
Peach Gold Peach. Peach Gold Peach would be hype.
That would exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I guess speaking of VGBootcamp events, though, we did just have.
Yeah, that is a great transition. We just spent a minute on Byleth, but yeah. So there was an event this weekend that also coincided with the announcement of this event, with the character, and that was Glitch 8, which was an event that we we're all at. So I'll start with the man that sat at a computer desk for a combined, 30. Rumor has it that your lower body has morphed into a chair now.
Don't go spreading that.
Yeah. So I'll start with how was your glitch?
It was good, man. As you mentioned, I actually have the pleasure of running the stream for setting up and running that for the duration of the weekend, and it was cool. And I am very happy to hear. Hold on, I'm gonna find Gimmer's tweet exactly, but basically, it's just about how awesome this glitch was and how here we go. Has the highest viewership for an A tier. It had the highest total attendance at 968, and basically it was just awesome. And then he was talking about I'm trying to find the other one. There's another tweet basically about the quality of top 8 matches, and there was a lot of game 5s. There was just a lot of cool storylines, as you could see in the overlay if you are watching this and not just listening. I have a picture of Wizzy and not Tweak. Tweak, spoiler alert if you didn't know, did win the tournament, but I chose this picture of Wizzy because it was kind of an epic run for him, and I don't think anyone was totally expecting this, and this is coming off the heels of, and you'll see that also on the overlay, him being PGR number 22, and then getting second this tournament, getting some pretty good wins. But yeah, so the tournament itself, very entertaining. I think it hit about 40,000 viewers at peak, and I think overall was just very good representation of competitive Smash. And it was overall just very satisfying to watch and stream and all of that. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with it as an event. And the Pokemon theme, who doesn't like it? Missing Number, they had a really cool trailer and everything. Really well put together, man. I have a totally new appreciation for VGBootcamp now that I've seen behind the scenes.
Yeah, no. From everything that I was just being able to watch, because being a commentator, I don't have a lot of time to actually sit down and watch this. But whenever I'd go backstage and just kind of like check to see if you're still breathing. No, everything looked to run real smooth, and obviously I've said it to the heavens and back, but like I'm incredibly proud of you for being able to handle that sort of workload.
Let me tell you something. It was really stressful during top 8. I'm not gonna front. It was very stressful during top 8, and I had realized it because like I didn't really expect it. The whole tournament itself was like business as usual, and I'm like, whatever, just stream it, it's all good. Then top 8 rolls around. There's like 10 people there, and Gimmer's got his headset. He's like, okay, you do this, and then you're going to do that, and then when that happens, that's your cue to do this. And when that started happening, I was just like, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to make sure I hit the appropriate buttons and the things I'm supposed to do. And sure enough, it ended up okay. But there's just so much that happens in all of this because this was the kind of event that ended up having an MC, like Hungrybox was there doing his thing. And, for top 8, you have the people walk the stage, so there's all that stuff to do. And then, there was a TriCast, that's some extra setup. And it was just like it was a legitimate production, and the viewership reflected that. And it's encouraging to think of production value and just overall being able to watch this like a sport. It's just like encouraging to see that. And that's essentially how I look at the tournament, I guess. But yeah, I don't know what you guys got.
Yeah, well, AJ, this is your first time ever being to a Glitch and or Xanadu in general, correct?
It's the second time. This is my first time actually casting. I went to Pound last year. And now is my first time at the venue, and to just kind of like just ride on the same train that Chris was just on a second ago. Just being at the event there, we've seen the majors production quality. We've both worked majors before, but this is the first time that I've worked a major involved directly with VGBC, who have been pretty much the forefront of our game and industry for past like God knows how long, like maybe 8 years plus now.
Probably like a decade.
Yeah, pretty damn close. Oh, that's right, because they were doing so even longer.
Yeah, totally.
And just to see what the culmination of grassroots can get to, and also to see that reflected in the viewership, the amount of hard work that a family puts together. You don't just get to be involved. You have to earn it. Like you have to make sure that the amount of effort you put behind going to other events, and I went to Pound knowing that I wasn't going to work, to see Tantalus and tell them, hey, if you happen to need somebody, I'm available. And I knew I wasn't getting a slot that weekend, but I did that because I wanted them to understand that I'm ready to work. And stuff like that is pretty much what leads you to eventually, hopefully get onto that. So that one thing is just like a humbling experience for me. Otherwise though, the stream itself, the matches, holy shit. Like there was a lot of big names that came out of nowhere. Look to a Tarek from Germany, Diet Soda, the Diet Soda from the Midwest was doing.
I think Diet Soda's from North Carolina.
Oh, was he North Carolina? Okay, I could have sworn he was in like Midwest, so I was getting that wrong.
North Carolina might as well. The Midwest of the South.
Kind of. I just remember seeing his Twitter clips all the time of just doing like a Piata Shield, and sure enough, as soon as the match starts, he does like 7. But yeah. The competitors, the upsets happening left and right. It's really just it was a different experience, but being able to be on the stage, up at the main stage itself, for the first time, and putting on a show, and patting myself on the back, being very well received, like it felt very good, and it also gave me that moment of like this is it, like this is what the hard work kind of comes to, and hopefully I'll be able to replicate that at Pound, but we'll see if I get on that or not. Otherwise, I'm going again because there's just so much fun.
Yeah, I think Pound is also at the same venue, right? It's at Xanadu.
Yes.
So this is the cool part. This was actually start to finish VGBootcamp, and whenever you see a lot of bigger tournaments, you think that VGBootcamp puts it together, even though they're just a stream. But like this is like Glitch and Pound, those are like the two events outside of like the locals that VG Bootcamp is. It's literally start to finish. They organize, they set the production, and it is pretty clear when they do it because they're gonna care more if it's there versus like just streaming, say like Frostbite. Like Frostbite is they're still gonna work hard to make a good presentation, but it's not like they're organizing it. It's just a little different. There's like different requirements for what the organizers would be looking for or want represented on stream or care about, whatever. And this is one of those things where it's just very much like VG's Bootcamp is like, okay, this is the things we want to have happen. These are our goals, our objectives, this, that, the other thing. And it is pretty clear. And the cool part is seeing the gameplay match that. And I just want to ask you guys if you were ever expecting to see Corrin versus Rosa ever again, because we got to see that, and that surprised me.
Yeah, I was driving home with Jackal, and he's like, "Oh, he went Corrin." I'm just like, "What fucking year am I in?"
It just looks so weird. Look at the screen right now. Like these two characters fighting on Smashville without a moving platform. What is this?
Yeah, like it was. It definitely threw me off. Definitely one of the characters that gave him success in the matchup against the Buzz in the previous game. Obviously, it was his main, but like pulling it out here, like a lot of people don't realize that all the aerials and everything on Corrin are still really good. The pin may have gotten a little bit worse, but it's still got dumb knockback. You can still frame trap people to death with the nair and the up air. Like even though there's very obviously some weaknesses compared to the Smash 4 iteration. Not a terrible character, but still extremely surprised to see that he actually pulled.
Yeah, he definitely did and was successful in it. And another thing I'd like to point out, I was talking about Dark Wizzy having a great run a little earlier, but Grand Finals was Tri-State. It was Dark Wizzy and Tweak. Mm-hmm. Tweak coming out on top, and I thought that was pretty cool. That felt pretty good as like my first mainstream for a VG Bootcamp in Maryland, that Tri-State ends up in Grand Finals regardless. I felt like that was a weird personal victory. I don't know how to explain these types of things, but I sort of just feel like, I don't know.
No, I get you because
there's like an energy behind it.
It's a regional pride. Like anytime I see Lighter Mars, especially if they happen to end up on my like even though I remain extremely unbiased when I'm on mic because I do not want to skew any viewership whatsoever, but doesn't mean that I'm not like popping off in my seat watching that happen. So when it's top 8 and you're behind production and you get to see people who are from your scene all the time, like how much effort they put in because you see them day to day. It feels good.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, and it was. Yeah, I'm opening up bracket now because I think there were like a lot of Game 5 sets in this whole thing.
Yeah, and a lot of reverse 3-0s.
A lot of reverse 3-0s. That Cosmos set and the Buzz was a reverse 3-0.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Winners Finals was actually a reverse 3 on Wizzy was up 2 games.
Yeah, like that's nuts. Yeah, Wizzy having an incredible performance, by the way. He ended up second, but he was double eliminated by Tweak, who won the tournament, so it's hard to really be too upset about that if you're him.
And he won 4 straight games from Tweak in a row, and what's it called? Tweak had to go full Nairo versus MK Leo. He loses 4 games in a row, and then like wins the tournament. So, like things were pretty wacky, and like, it was interesting because like out of like the big killers you usually expect to see at Glitch, like there was still a handful of people that were missing from this bracket. Like, no Nairo and like Leo has been taken. No Mars, like no not. Gluttony. Yeah, because Gluttony unfortunately got. I think he was like ill or something like that, so that's why he could not make it. But still, and the top seed of the tournament getting 17th place, which hammers home my theory of you never win the pre-tournament tournament because you're doomed to fail.
Yeah, that's Meister for anyone who's unsure. Yeah, and dude, well, first of all, there's actually a lot to talk about here. Like I'm looking at Stroder at 5th. Like Stroder's run was incredible too, and
yeah, he beat Cosmos and Meister, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just looking at Wizzy's run. I mean, there were like a lot of good people here, but yes, like Wizzy went through Esam, who was Glitch 7 winner. It took out to Buzz. So those are obviously 2 big names. I mean, I guess I don't want to say less notable. I'm not trying to discredit anyone, but I mean, he also has like DM there, Fatality, ZD, like still some pretty solid names. But as far as like Stroder goes, yeah, like he beat Kishiru, who was actually flown in Japanese Pikachu, right?
Yes.
Yep, and then does take out Meister in a Game 5 set, and that was actually a very, very good set, if I recall, because I do believe I did get the pleasure of watching that. And the cool thing is I'm seeing Cosmos like I feel like recently he's really been surging in terms of
He's been on the comeback tour for sure.
Yes, he not just on the comeback tour. I feel like he's definitely jamming.
Yeah, like absolutely dropping the fresh album.
Yeah,
For it, murdered by the music, but you know he's the inkling left and right. Of course, that like the Corin, but between Let's Make Big Moves and this, like getting, I think he got, what was it, 9th at Let's Make Big Moves, or did he make top 8?
I believe he got 9th.
Okay, yeah, so getting 9th and then getting top 8 here, and pretty much having just like a non-existent performance, or just kind of really not showing up too much, taking a break. Break definitely helped for sure.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. And then another very notable thing is House of 3000 Dill getting 7th. That's a pretty big deal, man. I mean, Rob is a super toxic character who maybe I wonder if we could call top tier now, but he did it. And I also want to remind people who else is at this tournament. Arfang 9th, Puppe 9th, Rafi 9th, Light Leon, Cola, formerly known as Salt 1, 13th. Like, these are all very, very good players. And Dill
is actually one of the big ones I wanted to talk about, too. Because, like, I don't think people respect enough the run that Dill had. Because I glanced through YouTube comments just to kind of see things. Like, for one, to check up on my, like, what people thought of me on a block. But, like, also to see what people think of those. And Dill beating Light hasn't beat Light in years. Had to play Sinji. He's been down on Sinji. Won in time, but still beat Sinji. Beat Rafi in the Ditto when Rafi's been up on Ditto.
That's a big
one.
He
played out of his mind.
Beat Blazing Pasta too. That's another notable.
Oh yeah, no, he didn't beat Blazing Pasta.
Yeah,
he tore him.
Yeah, he sure did. That was on mainstream, I think. He beat him.
I had that one. He tore him.
That's right. Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, like you love to see it, man. Dill's been like kind of a relic of the New York scene for a long time. Like obviously, brawl player and through Smash 4, like a very well respected player. And you know, so I guess it's safe to say that one Dillian Lions can definitely beat a robot or all the Pokemon. Oh my God, the meme wrote itself. Holy shit.
Yeah, wow, how about that? Dillian, I mean, it's a pretty big number. That's all.
Like Dillian's a huge number, bro.
Yeah,
but like, yeah, for real though, like I'm super. It was a good weekend for the Rubin family because like I know that watching Devin pop off for his brother was it warmed the crevice of my heart that I didn't think I could see the sun in. And so now, as long as Dill doesn't go to anything else, he'll be guaranteed. I think top 30 in the PGR probably. So
no, he definitely got at least top 15 at this point. You just don't touch a controller again from the rest of the season.
Whatever you do,
they don't know.
Whatever you do, don't beat Tweak.
Yeah, they don't know it's a top. They don't know it's a top 15 win yet. So like, you know, and he's got a loss on Tweak. Like I'm telling you, he's guaranteed at this point.
Amazing.
That's right. He's got a loss on Tweak. He's top 10.
Oh hell yeah! Let's get it.
And you know, occasionally you need a little, need a fire lit under your ass to get you motivated a bit. And surely, amongst all the people, Wizzy got the most motivated for the next time.
Sure. Yeah. No. Absolutely. And like again, good stuff to Wizzy. You know, it was kind of albeit as a bit of a softer bracket. Because Wizzy didn't have to play a single PGR player until he had to play the Buzz. But granted, that's no fault of his. I think he had the gluttony bracket. So, I don't think Tweak did either because Tweak had the upset bracket. He had the Dill bracket. So,
yeah, that's right.
He doesn't have to play a PGR player until like winners finals. Because who was semis again? I forget.
Winner semis.
Yeah, Tweak. Who did he have to play?
Tweak had to play. I'll just look at bracket real quick.
Was that Schroeder he had to play? It was Schroeder.
Yeah, he played Schroeder in winter semis.
Yep. So he didn't have to play a PGR player until the winners finals.
Yeah, because that would have been Light's path.
And to Meister as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, again, it's it was a fun tournament to watch. Again, good stuff to everybody, and it's Genesis upcoming weekend even cooler, which I'll be at. I won't be commentating, but I will be in attendance at the event. So,
Heck yeah.
looking forward to it. Genesis is usually a pretty cozy time, but good stuff to and I think by the time this comes out tomorrow, we will know who our top 10 players in the world are, because for the past week or so, as we move into topic number 3, unless you guys got something else to say.
Well, we still know who they are. We just don't know the order.
Yeah. By the way, just one more shout out to Glitch and VG. Y'all are
the true
absolutely.
codes
The
for
homies,
sure.
so.
Absolutely.
Big fan of everybody. Love being paid out in checks. By the
Oh my
way.
God,
That's
amazing.
Literally day of, like,
Amazing.
It's wild.
But yeah. So moving right along, the PGR for this past season, this past 6 months, has been coming out version 2. We've been steadily getting results every other day. It feels like a century at this point, because 50 is kind of a bulkier number than you'd expect. So yeah, we currently know who the top 10 players are. We just don't know in which order they are. The PGR has been met with much more backlash than I think I've ever seen the PGR.
It should be. I'm just gonna say that. It should be met with a lot of backlash.
No, you know what? And I wholeheartedly agree with you. So, like, there's been issues of, what the algorithm is, what matters more, how could somebody be ranked a top 15 or 30 player in the world if they've attended nothing but, like, without attending a single S tier. Like, Choco's a top 20 player in the world or something or he's a top 30 player in the world, and he's attended essentially the Japanese equivalent of a PSS every month.
Dude,
here,
I'm going to show you this image right here. I'm going to show you Ken's Umebura, which is basically Platinum Star Smash in New Jersey, but in Japan. And here are his notable results. 2nd, 4th, and 4th there. Come on, bro.
Yeah, like, I love Ken.
Come on, bro. Ken, no problem with Ken. Ken's great. Look at him. He's so happy, and he plays Sonic, and he's great. But that's not even the problem. The problem is the Japanese player is just farming wins. And this is a funny thing, because the same thing could have happened here, because I say Platinum Star Smash, but for anyone who doesn't know that, and you probably don't, although you might if you're watching on this channel, the reality is it had, it has Wishes, who was formerly ranked top 30, it had Rivers, who was formerly ranked top I guess
top 20. He was
top
18.
20. That's right, top 20. Had Leon, who was top like 40 or whatever. Gon's top 50, and these are all things. And then it's just like you see that happen in Japan, and for some reason now it matters a lot more. And I'm not sure what happened conversion wise or why, but like it's enough to get you top 20 now, and I think that's just confusing to everyone. And
yeah, I read somewhere that like Japan gets like a multiplier in their events or something like that.
Well, obviously because one, that's dumb, and two, it's quite obvious, because if you look at 20 through 11, what's it? 2 players that aren't from Japan, being Wadi and Isam.
Yeah, I made a tweet about it, which has blown up significantly.
Did you? I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. Go check my Twitter yesterday. I made a fun. But yeah, I agreed. Like, it is definitely very Japan heavy. Like, I don't know the exact numbers of it, and there's still at least one more Japanese player that we're all still waiting to see where they eventually land.
I see it. Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and like the big problem that people are having is that the algorithm just makes no sense. And like I think the big glaring problem that people have is that Goblin Man, or I think it stems definitely from Goblin Man the most, where Goblin is was formerly 39th on the last on the first PGR, and like arguably, not even arguably, had a much better season this time around than he did his last season, and he dropped 3 spots, and he had 2 wins on the number 2 player in the world at the time in Tweak, and he dropped 3 spots. So people were like, "What the fuck, man? Like, this makes no sense. Are we playing by golf rules?" Like, I just like, I think a lot of these issues would be alleviated if PG just kind of made their algorithm just a little bit more transparent.
Yeah, like no one's gonna copy it because it sucks, and also it's just like, well, how could you if it's
And I also don't have a problem with the like people are using this as a launching point for algorithm versus a panel of people, and I think an algorithm is fine. I just think you do like things need to be the weight. Is this what's the weight? What's being weighed in how much of a quantity? You know what I mean?
Well, the problem with an algorithm is that it's still made by a person, so it's going to be biased.
Yeah. Sure, of course. Like, just checks and balances that come into doing this, and it's just like when I think everybody's seen it at this point, but like one of the guys on the PGR was just like, oh yeah, like if you're your top 20 your top 20 win on wishes, was weighed as an unranked player. You just didn't know it yet, or like whatever. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah, like how does that work? Because I'm pretty sure he was ranked last season, so how is it now not ranked? And it's just like,
yeah, how is a ranked win on some not like it like what it just makes it made there's so many aspects about it that just make no fucking sense to me. And I know I'm not alone when I say that, but hopefully like things fix themselves, and for the most part things have been fine. Like the top 10 is actually exactly what I predicted to be for a top 10. So
well, yeah, the top 10 also what it has obviously the likes of MKLeo, Tweak, Nairo, Mars, Sam. Who else is in there?
It's Nairo, Leo, Tweak, Mars, Samsora, with Light, Gluttony, Zachary, Meister, and the Buzz.
Yeah, totally. So it's just like I feel like that much should be evident considering like I don't know, those guys are always top placing wherever they go, and they go to a lot of things. So it's just like that's not a mystery, but it does get very strange. And I actually didn't realize, like you said. Oh wait, this is my favorite meme, the Ron meme. It's like, who the fuck is Ron?
Ron Suarez, baby, best Yoshi in Long Island.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a shame though, because then you see like what were Jackal's results? Because Jackal had some results.
Jackal had like 25th at Big House. He had obviously like or he had Shine. Where he got 9th. He had SmashCon where he got a millionth place. He had Glitch where he got 9th. I think he got like 17th or something at like Defender North, like other tournaments that like counted. So like, yeah, his results were a little like all over the place, but like you're also ignoring the fact that he had 2 like top, like single digit placings at S tiers. So
you know what the problem is though with that is they weren't in Japan.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's very strange to see, and then it makes me think about like I know the invitationals being what they are now, and those count for a certain tier, but it's just like why? Because now it just gets even more confusing. Because now you're literally dictating who's able to make it if these bigger tournaments aren't going to count for as much. It's just the whole system seems very, very convoluted.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I know Goblin had a lot to say too, because apparently his win against Tweak counted against him, if I'm correct.
It makes no fucking sense.
What was the actual reasoning for that? Is it written right here? What did they say with his win on Tweak? Because I know that was like a meme.
It might have just been his other placings that kind of like screwed him up. I don't know. Like that's where I'm trying to.
No one knows.
Because I know he like ate shit in a couple of vests, but I don't know. Is AJ alive?
Oh, I'm here. I was just letting you guys go. I got a really long rant ready to go.
Okay, I'm just making sure that you're
so go in.
All right. So see how I'm saying a lot of words, but like no logic is actually coming from any of it right now. That's exactly what I got out of reading every single explanation that was put out for this mess. Like just on a smaller scale. Like from a local PR standpoint, that when you have to explain to someone, hey, so you can't discredit someone entirely based off of 1 or 2 like what would be called bad wins or like bad losses in like say a top 8 placing or something, because people are just ready to shit on the entire placing of somebody right then and there, like, oh, they lost to Gyro Tosser 500, so there's no way that they can actually make it into top 5. Like, yeah, but what about the fact that they got 3rd to 1st every other weekly? Like, and then removing the value of somebody's previous season rank is just, it aggravates me to my core. Like, what the hell is the point of actually getting ranked if when you get ranked, the nothing really matters? Like, we use monetary value of people's careers based on contracts for teams, stats for events, so people will actually register to go out to stuff in terms of tiers. And all this is based off of a system. Granted, this is something that PG Stats decided to do on their own, and I do appreciate that they have been doing this. But when you have very obvious issues and mistakes with something like an algorithm that people are just not happy with, and you're not being transparent and you're not making ways to actually change it, the end product is going to get worse. The backlash is going to get worse, and more people are going to get upset. And when you don't stop to listen, nobody's going to want to respect the idea behind what you're saying anymore. And we finally hit that point. And it was only in season 2. Like, how did it? Like, how? I just, oh my
How did
god,
it get like this?
I just can't understand. Like then you made the Platinum Star Smash reference, and that made me even more upset because I didn't even stop to think about that in like my whole rant. Like, oh right, that's basically just a bunch of people coming together who they always like. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate Japan for this. This is awesome that they get as many people at these events as they do. That's
Well, no, it's not.
absolutely
None of
fantastic.
that is their fault. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but a multiplier on an event that's statistically shown will always be that way, with a quality of player that is going to be like X versus Y, where somebody has wins always at this event versus these players versus people who are literally beating number 2 or such in the world, and they're going down in rank. Like, how in any professional sport can you ever make that logic and not have somebody say you're fired on the show?
I'm just
Like,
I'm mostly baffled at like why, like, okay, is it just Japan who gets a multiplier that's non-US? Like, why is it just Japan? And also, like, since when do monthlies count for PGR like that? Like, I don't understand, because like, yeah, I have the Wishes tweet now where he goes, I placed well at 4 monthlies, where's my PGR spot? And as you can see, monthly number 1 has Tweak, and then Jackal, Mr. E, Jen. And then monthly number 2, Blazing Apostle, Jackal, Rivers, all PGR level players. And then another one, Debuzz, Mr. E, Juice, Jackal, Great Gonzalez, and more PGR players. And
I should've
then
made a
Leon,
tweet
Shoyo
showing,
James, and like how does this happen?
I should have made a tweet showing like any events that are involved with overclock. Like, why aren't those S tier value at this point? Because of the fact that we have Light Mars and now Raffi this season, like being there. Like, okay, so why can't these just be like S tier in value because you have these people? Now obviously I'm exaggerating, but like it just doesn't
Well,
make sense.
here's the deal.
Like,
if we're going to start paying attention to monthlies, then let's do it everywhere.
Exactly.
How about that?
Yeah,
Exactly.
it needs to be consistent always. Bias never works. Not taking steps to improve never works, and not being open to when something is created as a system that is not perfect, and understanding feedback that will make it a little bit better. It just doesn't work. Like, I want at the end of all this for them to learn, and like I know it's a thankless job for a lot of people. You're not really paid to do this usually. You're just choosing to do it. And for people who get on volunteer wise to do stuff and do the writing and all the stuff, I'm very happy for them and for anybody who happens to listen to this. But at the end of the day, it's still taking away credibility for especially people who are looking at it from an outside perspective, such as teams, to even take it seriously when you can't even have a legitimate way of saying, what is the best way I could get a marketing value off a player I wish to sign, when I can't even say that this person truly, in the eyes of others, is actually a top 10 to 20 player.
Oh,
Like,
I think we're at a point now where it might not be obvious to many people, and no one really might not think about it. I did see someone make a tweet about basically going to a PGR event being a PGR investment, and it's very true, because now you're just playing the game of what esports company is paying the most and what gives you the most exposure versus who are the actual best players in the world. And some of these responses that I see, I'm not trying to single anyone out, but like the statistician for PG, basically they're just so dismissive and kind of just like, well, what are you, stupid for asking that, sort of like feeling to it, or just like, why would you even question this kind of deal? And I don't like that. And you said this already multiple times, Ajax. Like, it's, yeah, like if you have a system that no one likes and people are very actively questioning, like maybe take some time to address that. Like, and I'm pretty sure these guys must be getting paid. I mean, Panda Global is a legitimate company as far as I know, but I could be wrong.
Well, yeah, but the people who sign on to do like X Factors and stuff aren't. And those are
Oh, true. Yeah, no, you're right about that. You're right about
yeah.
that.
So like when it just like the reason why I get very passionate and kind of upset about this is because all I want and all the rest of us want is to see the community grow in nothing but a forward direction. And we already have enough pushback from people who regularly want to see things like Nintendo sponsoring Gen 7 and then going apeshit complaining that they don't get to use their controller adjustments. Oh well. But like I don't even care at this point. Like it's just when we get support and then the first thing is negative bite back. And then when you get stuff like the ranking system, and the first thing you get after many times of people saying, please just be more transparent and or make some different direction attempts to make things a little bit better. And all you do is dismiss it. That is just not healthy for the community. And it's not good for us in the long run. And I really hope that somebody is listening or paying attention to going, all right, we need to fix some things.
Yeah, and I think I've read several times that they're not planning on changing anything. No, like the multipliers, nothing is changing.
Which is just a shame.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, I think James made a tweet too. It's like, all right, like the players are outraged, and like that's obviously like the big thing. So, you know, I've seen people putting their Orion ranks in their Twitter bios, and you know, people are again like something's gonna give. So like, if PG doesn't want to change their ways, then the players are just gonna move on to a ranking system that makes more sense for them. Like,
I hope so.
There's just things that like I listen. I'm sure, you know, hope maybe PG is not. We'll listen. Like just out of fear of you know, losing a big like money making aspect for them. Not even a money making. I meant like a just it's a. I'm trying to find the words. You know what I'm trying to say. Like the PG stats is kind of like it's a big
too much
deal.
of a business right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you still got your views, you still got you're still getting your ad revenue from people going onto RedBull.com. You still got your money coming in from the clicks and the subscriptions and the ads that play on YouTube. You're not like that's still very much a business avenue that they don't use out. And I don't want to I never wish ill things upon people who are trying to do positive for community. I want to see things improve. Like, I hope if somebody's actually listening to this podcast, they listen this far to understand that. But
sure,
like the main thing is, if you continue to just put your hand on top of the stove, it's gonna keep getting burnt.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, I think, you know, we'll see what ends up shaking out. Again, the top 10 will most likely be revealed tomorrow at some point, probably on 12 Eastern time. So by the time this podcast goes up, we will have already known who the number one player in the world is. So congratulations to the great Gonzalez. I think he'd be able to...
on Gonzo?
Yeah, on Gonzo. I think he'd be able to do it. But, you know, hey, listen, that win over YouTube, man, you know, really made
a big one. It was a big one.
Yeah. But, I mean, again, I'm not really surprised by the top 10. Like, I think everybody there deserves it. I think my dark horse would have been, I think Tier Kameme might have edged it out over Light, because Light doesn't have, to my memory, like Light didn't have that like super consistent of a season. But...
Actually, that's so he had a slow-ish start, but after like month 1, he was in top 8 at every major.
Oh, well, that's good then. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but here's the thing: I'm actually worried now because he was top 10 last season, and I am almost willing to predict, out of just pure annoyance, that he's probably going to end up as number 10 again. Because I was thinking of his wins that he got and his good spots that he got, and I bet you that it counted against him somehow. I'm worried about Nairo now. Like that Nairo should have jumped, skyrocketed, and I'm wondering where he is. Like just because there's no true way to understand.
If Nairo's any lower than 3, I'll throw myself into the bay.
Here's the story. Nairo will be top 3 easy. He's good for business as far as Smash goes, so he's guaranteed.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I'm sure, but I'm just saying, if there's any inkling of a chance that he's not number 3, at least I'm throwing myself into the San Francisco Bay, and you're gonna have to come rescue me. Like I'm just gonna. This is me capping out. Like I can't. My heart can't handle that. But
Well, it's a good thing I'm gonna make sure I go out there with that because I'm not letting people. But it has been quite the interesting night worth of rants. I have definitely always enjoyed being able to get that off my chest because it's something that you just can't type and have people understand in the same manner. Well, when you have people who actually understand the topic, and then hopefully people will go back and watch this later. Maybe you want to comment on it. I hope we get something constructive.
Yeah, no, that definitely itched to scratch, and that's pretty much everything. Like Genesis is happening this weekend, so that's gonna be fun to talk about after the fact. Shout out to the homeboy and co-host of the podcast, Hazmat, for breaking through under the commentary lineup. So.
Yeah, let's go.
Yes, congrats, Haz. Very happy to see that. Just the entirety of the tri-state and New England crews and all of us starting to get on the more stuff. 2020 is been hitting right.
We're out here prospering. Unlike the Boston Red Sox, we do not need technology to advance further. I'm sorry, is it too soon? Moving on.
Rest in peace, Beltro.
Yeah, it's makes. Hey, but it's okay. AJ's 49ers are in the Super Bowl, so what God giveth, what God taketh, God giveth right back.
God giveth back, and let's go 49ers.
Yeah, and that concludes our sports section for the podcast. But yeah, that pretty much handles everything this week. Once again, I guess if there's stuff that we could plug, my Twitter's at Koopa NJ. I'm the only person on the podcast this week that didn't experience a major name or branding change, so I'm still the same. I'm still the same. You can follow me as I adventure through California tomorrow, because I'm traveling by myself, and I'm going to be in California by myself for a majority of the first day. So it's going to be quite the fun time.
Yeah, man, that sounds good. And speaking of rebranding, yeah, follow me at Chrysalodian. That's home base now, by the way, guys. I hope you like it because I love it. And you could expect to see me. I'm actually queuing up a tweet right now. After looking at that Wishes tweet about the monthlies, I got some stuff to say. So you can catch me bitching about the PGR maybe. I'm thinking about it right now. Or maybe not. I'm trying not to pay it too much mind. But either way, yeah, that's where you find me. Especially follow Masterhand Gaming and this podcast at Masterhand Games, of course. Keep up with all the latest here. And Ajax, where can they find you?
The usual is not the usual. Make sure you go ahead and check out the new Twitter and Instagram and all media aspects at Ajax_HQ. That information will be released to you pretty soon, but just know it's going to be quite interesting for me. I'm very happy about the new direction that I'm taking. Like I said at the beginning, I love Flashpoint. Very much happy with my time there, but there's going to be a few new things. Very excited about, and look forward to showing that to everyone. And of course, make sure to check out the weeklies of Synthesis every single week on Mondays at Great Value Smash. Even though I can't be there all the time, there's great people there who are there every week. The Home of Light, Ling Ling, and Telka, amongst other competitors who happen to be out there in the Connecticut community. So always happy to be here with you guys. Thank you again for having me on.
Dude, please, anytime. You are welcome anytime.
Yeah, for sure, brother. We love having you, and you voice on this week's podcast. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this week. Tune in next week for when we count to 31 on both of our hands in binary. So.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, guys. And as always, if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you like it. Make sure you share it. Interact with us. Please ask us questions. I would love nothing more than to offer like a viewer question thing, but we just don't get that many. But maybe one day I'll start promoting it. But anyways, thank you all, and we'll see you, I guess, this weekend for the Arcadian, and then next weekend for this, or I'm sorry, next week for this podcast. But until then, have a great day.
Bye, guys.